Have you tried Anchor FM yet? What are you waiting for? Anchor is the only platform that includes all the tools that you need to launch your podcast instantly, including monetization. That's right. Start making money right now. Record, edit, distribute, and earn, all right from your Anchor FM dashboard. It's time to set sail on that podcast that you've been dreaming of making. Just don't forget your Anchor. Anchor FM, the easiest way to make a podcast ever.
There's a speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say around 90.
But what about us?
Memories. You're talking about memories.
Good, I'll have a drink.
I don't want anything of his or any part of it.
Except his life.
I wonder if I know what you mean.
I wonder if you wonder.
Played it for her, you played it for me. I lived a few weeks while she loved me. Waiting for a lady. Someday you'll understand that.
Got some news that's gonna take a lot of tension off you and Laura.
Stop it, Dix! I can't take any more of this! I should be in here for him.
You know the story?
What story?
Maybe because he was drunk.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
Well, I'll give her the message.
But they're asleep all over America.
Welcome to the Speakeasy Noir Cast, a podcast discussing film noirs of yesterday and neo-noirs of today. Each week, we will deliver a discussion and analysis of classic and neo-noir films, all mixed in with our unintelligible banter. Your hosts for the show, Carly Street and Jason D. Morris.
If you say something funny. Or we have this.
Oh, that's like the noise that was on Diagnosis Murder this morning on the quiz show. I like that one.
Nice.
It was that one where he's doing the quiz show and people keep dying on it. And then
Right,
Roxanne wins £1 million and just gives it to the hospital because he doesn't need the money. He's just here to solve a murder.
All right. Ready to get started?
Yeah.
I thought we were. How long has it been since we recorded last? I can't even remember now. It's been, we're still in a pandemic. So there's that. I don't think much has changed.
Not really. Except we can go to the pub. Can you go to the pub?
No, no.
Oh, you're not.
Still closed.
Oh, we can go to the pub because COVID doesn't exist in the pub. So.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Oh, boy. Well, stay safe. So I wouldn't go to the pub if I was you, but if you need to, I guess.
I don't really like it. I went once. I wasn't a fan.
So you guys have to wear masks or?
It's weird. We're supposed to wear masks, but we don't have to wear masks. But we could get fined if we don't wear masks. But there's no one around to fine us if we don't wear masks. So I guess it's up to us. I don't know. I wear a mask wherever I go because I don't know.
I would wear one just to not get fined.
Yeah.
I mean, I would wear one anyways, but...
It's really weird because at work, all the customers are supposed to... Well, I think the customers are supposed to wear a mask, but they don't have to wear a mask, and we don't have to challenge them if they don't want to wear a mask because they're supposed to wear a mask, but they don't have to wear a mask or whatever the rule is. But we don't have to wear one, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think people out here are just worried about getting shot if they can test somebody not wearing a mask.
Oh my God. And I would be too scared to go anywhere in America. Like, I wouldn't tell anybody off. What if they got a gun?
Right? America is a crazy place right now.
I saw a picture on Facebook where your sky was like red. I didn't know if that was real or just a Facebook lie.
No, it was real. So that was just last week. We woke up in the morning and it was still dark out, which, most of the time it is because we wake up early, but I woke up a little later, like around 7 o'clock, and it was still dark, and I was like really odd. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe we're supposed to set the clocks back or something and forgot about it. I don't know.
Maybe I slept through another one.
Which is weird, right? Yeah. You guys don't have that out there, right? You don't do the daylight savings time, right?
We do turn the clocks back and forward.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was just an American thing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So that's what I thought it was at first, but it obviously wasn't the time to do that. And I went outside, and the sun is out, but the sky was so covered in smoke. The entire sky was just red and orange, and it was really dark outside, and it stayed that way all day.
Wow.
It was dark. It was like it perpetually for the whole entire day. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. It just seemed like the sun was just rising for the entire day.
That's weird.
And for the past couple of weeks, have been ash falling all over everything. Like everything's covered in ash. It's like being in a cross between Silent Hill and the new Blade Runner movie. All the smoke and fog. But it's pretty eerie and crazy. And a lot of stories coming out, about the fires, and it's just amazing. Scary, but we're not near really any of the fires, so we're okay where we're at in the Bay Area. But there's some around us, but nowhere near where we live or anything.
I don't understand how you lot live day to day, because I'd just be constantly in my house, like afraid to leave in case something set on fire or somebody got shot or something. It's all going off.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really leave too often, but I kind of like keep it to myself anyway. But yeah, I mean, I could, I don't know. We don't live in like a sense of fear or anything, but I mean, there is that crap that's, it's always going to be that way, I guess. I don't know. I guess you get used to it.
So weird.
Isn't that awful?
You have to worry about spontaneously bursting into flames, and we have to worry about drowning.
Because it rains there a lot, yeah.
Yeah. We have to worry about sinking. You have to worry about, like, being a volcano.
And earthquakes.
And earthquakes.
That's it.
Bloody hell. I get scared when the lightning's too strong. Bloody hell, we haven't seen lightning in 20 years, so it must be happening.
Well, that's what started all this, man. We had like this the weather was really weird a few weeks ago. And we had this really bad lightning and thunderstorm. And I guess there was like hundreds of lightning strikes that were hitting like foresty areas and caused a bunch of fires. And then a couple weeks later, somebody does this gender reveal party with pyrotechnics and lights a mountain on fire or something. It's like, it's insanity.
I heard that. I didn't think that was real.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah, that's what they're saying, like caused a lot of it. Yeah. One of the big fires. Yeah.
Oh my God. You wouldn't want to be that person, would you?
No. I mean, a lot of 2020 feels like, unreal, like Donald Trump. Like there's so much stuff that like, what? Did he really say that? And that's what it feels like for 2020. It's like, did that really happen? Fire tornadoes. There's another example. Like, what? That's a thing? That's like a sci-fi channel movie.
I saw this thing on Facebook, and it's literally like Captain Picard, like waking up every day on 2020 damage report. What weird shit's gone on now?
That's perfect.
I'll see if I can find it. That is it.
Oh yeah, we gotta post that. It's so funny. That's exactly what it feels like. I mean, it's
it's like being on the Enterprise, just rolling into a different episode. Except there's no Captain Picard.
I'm not wearing a red shirt. You're right. It's like a elongated episode with Q in it.
God, yeah.
Well, so how's it feel to be back? Second season of Speakeasy Noircast. Are you excited?
I am excited. I've enjoyed watching the films again, to be fair, because I got out the habit of just going to work and coming home and not watching films or anything. Yeah,
now you're forced to watch things you don't want to watch, and
well, I enjoyed watching 50% of the films. I'll rephrase that.
That's good. We can have some contrasting ideas here. I'm sure we're going to have some today. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how much I missed watching the movie, because I haven't watched a noir since we finished doing the season ending for Chinatown and Two Jakes. Those are the last ones I watched.
Wow.
Yeah, so starting back up was pretty exciting to me. I've enjoyed it so far, even the ones that I don't like. But yeah, I don't know. I was pretty excited to get back to this. It's been a little bit, and we got a lot of good films coming up this season. Hopefully, our audience enjoys what we either love or hate. Whatever it is that we talk about and talk shit about.
Well, Or maybe they'll be trapped in their houses again, so they'll have no option but to listen to us either way.
Right. Maybe
But we've got sound
our
effects.
listens will go up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go. Sound effects. Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun.
So I thought you were just going do.
Yeah, so, before we get into today's movie, gosh, did I miss this? This is my favorite part. Hopefully people at home are following along and maybe trying some of this stuff. I don't know. I certainly have, opened up my palate to new drinks. I don't know if you have, Carly, but I've been trying some of these things over our hiatus, and I've become a frequent flyer at the alcohol store.
Hey, do you know what? It's bad when the person that owns the alcohol store asks you if you can pick up their order from the place that you work at because they are that familiar with you. Bear in mind, if you don't have a uniform on, that not only have they gone, that's a place I've never known about, I think I'll have a look on their website. Then ordered it and then asked us to collect it for them because they know that we will be in. That happened yesterday.
That's good. That's good service. That's too funny. All right. So, speaking of Alcoholics Anonymous, we are going to have something today called the Paralyzer.
Oh,
I love the name of it. I don't know why.
I like
Sounds
that.
like you drink this and you're gonna be on the floor.
Yeah, that's it. You're done.
It's actually not so bad though. It sounds like a very sweet drink though, and it's not a whole lot of alcohol or anything. But so the Paralyzer is 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of coffee liqueur, 2 ounces of milk or cream, 4 ounces of cola, ice, and a cocktail cherry. Only one.
Oh.
And this sounds like a milkshake.
I was going to say, it sounds like a Jean-Claude Van Damme film when you say the Paralyzer. And then they make it, it's like 5 bits of vodka and a cherry.
Right? Yeah, it sounds like a ice cream shop drink.
Yeah.
So to make this, you add ice to our favorite glass, a highball glass, then add vodka, coffee-flavored liqueur, then the cola. Stir gently, add the milk or cream to the top, then garnish with a cocktail cherry and serve. It sounds great. I'm going to have to try this.
But I don't like vodka, milk, or cherry.
How do you not like cherries?
I like
Oh my
cherries.
God.
I've got a strawberry in there instead.
Really? That's weird. I don't know. Maybe. Wow. You don't like cherry. You learn something new every day. But there you go, folks. That's the Paralyzer. That's the first drink of our season 2. Hope you guys enjoy it. It sounds good to me. Carly obviously is not going to be enjoying it, or she's going to be subbing out a lot of things for probably Jen.
Yeah, I'll just make a whole different drink and call it that.
Yeah. The Carly Paralyzer.
Paralyzed.
So there you go, guys. The Paralyzer. Why don't you guys make your drink and drink along with us as we discuss our film today. Today's film is called Laura, and Laura is a 1944 film, and it's produced and directed by Otto Preminger. Preminger? Help me out. Otto made this movie. Maybe it's Otto. I don't know. So
You didn't disappoint.
I knew this was going to happen. Okay, so anyway, Laura, 1944 American film noir, directed by Otto Preminger.
Directed by a guy.
Here's the trailer for Laura. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's all right. It doesn't matter.
Murder is my favorite crime. I write about it regularly.
And I know you'll have to visit everyone on your list of suspects. I'd like to study their reactions.
You're on the list yourself, you know.
Good. To have overlooked me would have been a pointed insult.
What is your relationship with Mr. Carpenter?
What do you mean?
An acquaintance? Friend? Are you in love with him?
This is beginning to assume fabulous aspects.
Oh, shut up.
He's been fired lately.
Yes, he killed some rabbits with it.
When?
Oh, a while back. I don't know exactly.
After that,
You ate a lonely dinner, then got into the tub to read. Why did you write it down?
Afraid you'd forget it?
So that was a trailer for Laura, the 1944 film Noir, produced and directed by a man named Otto Preminger, I think.
Oh, God.
It stars Gene Tierney, Dana Andrews, and Clifton Webb, along with
Vincent
Price. Yeah, I was very surprised to see him in this. And Judith Anderson. The screenplay was by Jay Dratler, Samuel Hoffenstein, and Betty Reinhardt, and is based on a 1943 novel called Laura by Vera Caspary. Caspary?
You went very posh then. Vera Caspary.
Vera Caspary.
Were you just trying to skip letters?
And before we get into discussing this film, Carly, why don't you give us your super famous in a nutshell synopsis? I've missed this. We haven't done this in forever, it feels like. And every time I watch a movie now, I'm like, hey, I want to call Carly and I want her to give me a synopsis of this film before I watch it. So Carly, without any further blabber, give us your synopsis.
I'll just say first, if I did do that, you wouldn't watch any films for the podcast because you'd be like, oh, that sounds utter rubbish.
I don't know. I think they're great.
Well, I'm a bit rusty, so this one might not be as good, but
that's all right.
Okay.
And now it's time for Carly's super famous in a nutshell synopsis.
A police detective randomly falls in love, that's got air quotes with it, with the portrait of a dead woman, who then rocks up a few days later, right as rain, creating a whole new murder investigation.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, because it is new. It completely, it flips the entire movie on its head. I think that's great. I think that's a good synopsis. Yeah, you're not rusty at all.
I'm really sad that nobody could see me do that.
Well, you take a picture of yourself.
Just doing air quotes.
Have Lily, and then we'll post it on the page. Do the air quotes, and I'll put like the title of Laura right in between your fingers or something like that. Yeah.
Or I'm dead professional.
Right,
with air quotes.
And I never heard of this film. And I was very surprised by it. And I'm also surprised to know that it was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. And it also was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. And I think rightly so. I really enjoyed this movie, and I wasn't ready for that plot twist. I was so surprised that I was like, I'm watching this movie and I think I've got it figured out. I'm like, oh, that's the killer. Oh, maybe that's the killer. It kind of reminded me of Green for Danger.
Oh, okay.
Where they did a great job setting up like everybody is the bad guy, maybe. And that's kind of how I went through this movie, was like, oh, it's got to be that person. It's got to be the aunt. It's got to be, maybe it's the cop. I even got to that point. I'm like, this guy who didn't even know the woman. Like,
right.
It's the cop.
The only problem I had with this film was that it's like, it's painted as him he's falling in love with a portrait, and everything that I saw about it beforehand was like, oh, a detective falls in love with a dead woman and tries to solve a murder. How did he fall in love with her? By seeing a picture twice?
Well, I wouldn't put that past any man, but that was one of the...
He's like, oh, I'm not bothered. Oh, let's go find a murderer. I thought you were falling in love with her, pal. That ended pretty fast.
Yeah. I do think that was probably one of the flaws of the movie. Was that sort of storyline? They could have pulled that out altogether and would have been fine, or they needed to beef it up a little bit more. Like, I can get the idea of spending so much time and seeing the portrait and sort of falling in love with the idea of that person or whatever after hearing stories. And I mean, he did delve into her love life. He did read all these letters and her diary and all these things and met all the people that were around her.
That was a bit embarrassing
so when
she came back, wasn't it? Like, oh, you've been in my diary, have you? Yeah. That relationship's gone right out the window.
Right. Yeah, it's just part of the job. So, yeah, I mean, I can get that, but I think that they needed to beef that up a little bit more, because I didn't feel like he actually was falling in love with her. It just that Lydecker kept saying it. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like he just kept saying it to push his buttons, and he wasn't actually falling in love with her because he didn't really express any of those emotions per se.
Yeah. I like the actual idea of if he was falling in love with the picture and it's kind of getting in his head. And I was waiting for that. And then it kind of changed pace and completely and then that twist came and then that bit sort of stopped. And I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen him sort of like longing and crying into a glass while a portrait looms. But no. What are you laughing?
And I agree with you on that. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think that was I didn't mind the idea behind it, but they could have done that a little bit better.
Yeah, we're going to do that. That's our next film. It's just going to be you sat in a room crying with a painting behind you that Ian's going to
do. Well, we can do sort of like a Dorian Gray story, except for, it doesn't make the person younger or stay young. It whoever looks at the painting instantly falls in love with this person that's dead.
And just stays in the room pining for them. Right.
Until they just die because they don't want to leave.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's next week sorted.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Vincent Price show up. Obviously he's synonymous with horror films. But that was a great little surprise. I didn't research the film before I watched it. I try not to do that these days. Just to sort of, especially if it's something I haven't seen yet, I want to be able to approach it with sort of fresh eyes and not know much about it, and then kind of go in and research it afterwards so I can formulate my own uneducated opinion, I guess. And I'm glad I did, because I had no idea he was going to be in this. And there's actually another, well, I won't get into that right now, but there is another movie that is on our list this season that had a pretty big cameo. That surprised the hell out of me too. But yeah, it was great to see Vincent Price in this. And I thought that the cast as a whole was pretty solid.
Yeah, I quite like it.
I enjoyed everybody in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised with was it Dana Andrews that played the cop?
Yeah.
Yeah. He I don't know that I don't recall seeing him in anything else, but I really liked him.
Familiar to me, but I didn't know if he just had that look of like a gritty 50s detective where I'm getting him interchangeable with other people. But I quite liked him, but I couldn't really place him in anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's because he has that look. Like, he has that to a T, like if you were going to draw a 50s detective, like his face is what you would draw, kind of thing. He's to a T like that character. So I thought it was perfectly cast for that. And the thing that really surprised me, and I don't know if you drew any of these same conclusions, but as I'm watching it, there's a lot of Columbo in him, which I found kind of fascinating. He's obviously a different person. He's a little more straightforward and, matter of fact, but he has all these little character things that he does that I loved. Like the little baseball game that he's always playing to like sort of calm his nerves or whatever. I loved that idea. He does show up with like a paper bag, which is a signature Columbo thing. And just different things like that. I was able to draw like a lot of conclusions, or not conclusions, but similarities between his character and Columbo, which I really enjoyed. Yeah. And he's a very dogged detective. He didn't let this go. He could have let it go at any point, and we don't know who it is, or it's this person, or whatever it is. But he kept pushing, as in instances where maybe another detective probably would just let it go. Okay, the radio's broke.
He was in love with the picture.
Why would I go check it out?
He was in love with the picture by then, wasn't he? I quite like that he kept like. He'd get halfway through a story, make it look like he was interested in what they've been doing, and then as soon as he found out the information, then they tried to carry on. He was like, "I'm not bothered."
Yeah,
he did that a couple of times.
Baseball game.
Yeah, I like that.
It was pretty hilarious because he's like, he would call somebody over somewhere to like interview them. They'd get there and he'd be like, "I'm leaving."
Yeah, I'm bored.
And they're like, "Wait a minute, didn't you want to talk to me?" He's like, "Oh yeah, sure. What were you up to?"
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? And I always felt like that was one of those like Columbo kind of tactics where he's just trying to put people off guard and hoping somebody slips up because they don't know what he's thinking, kind of thing. And I really enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah, he did have a habit of putting the two blokes in the room together at the same time and watching them squabble for a little bit and then just being like, "Right, okay, I'll see you later."
Right. And it was funny because everybody's like, "Well, I'll just go along with you." Okay. Like, he's just like, "Sure, come with me. And that's fine." Everybody wants to be involved, even if they didn't kill the person, they're just like, yeah. And, that was one of those things where they just, they kept you kind of on your toes, not knowing who did this. Everybody, it's one of those movies where everybody has a motive for one reason or another. And for the longest time, I thought it was the aunt. I just, obviously she wanted the Shelby character, and it just clicked to me that she was probably the one that killed her, which is, because it's like, that's even worse to be killed by, one of your family members than, somebody else for some reason. But yeah, I just thought that was going to be it. But boy, when you hit that midpoint with that twist, I was just like, that totally reinvigorated me in this movie. I was like, what? Holy crap. What? She's got a twin sister.
Yeah, I thought they were going down that
brutal freaking way.
Yeah, I thought they were going down that road for a while. Is this going to be a sister? If this is a sister thing, I'm turning it off.
Right. Yeah. I was like, but it was good. I thought they did a great job with that. And it was really like one of those, oh shit moments. And I was really happy it wasn't some weird thing like, oh, it's a twin sister or whatever. But yeah, it all kind of made sense. And man, did they make me think that it was her for a minute. I'm just like, and I didn't pick up on it right away. He starts interrogating her. And I'm like, why is he acting that way? And then she's like, oh, you think I did it or whatever. And I'm like, oh crap, you think she did it? So I was a little behind. I was a little behind on this one. And I think they did it in such a way where it's like that twist hit me to where it caught me so off guard that I didn't even catch that he was like suspecting her there for a minute.
Yeah. And to be fair, it made sense because I was thinking, this isn't that. How has he not known that she's alive? Seriously. But actually, okay, I can kind of understand in the 40s how he thought she was dead and didn't realise that she was alive.
Well, which one? Who are you talking about?
Laura.
Who are you saying didn't realize that she was alive?
Oh, the detective. When he was like, because I thought this is going to be really implausible that she's suddenly back. She's got to be a ghost or something, or it's got to be a weird sister thing. But when she was explaining, it was the right kind of, like, it's the right kind of mysterious, like, oh, I could still have done something weird. But the right kind of, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and I also think it has to do with the compressed time period. Like, it was only over the course of 3 days. So it made total sense that she went away for the weekend to clear her head or whatever and decide whether she was going to marry Vincent Price or not. Came back and was like, oh, wow, I'm dead. No, I'm not. So the twist worked really well. And I'm glad they played that straight. I thought that was pretty good and out of left field. And I guess foreshadowing wise, the whole movie up until that point, I was wondering, wow, how brutal. They killed her with a shotgun to the face twice.
Yeah, well, lovely lady.
Shot her twice in the face.
Lady as well.
Yeah. I thought that was so brutal. And then it makes sense because they couldn't identify the person quick enough to know that she wasn't dead. So I thought that worked out pretty well. I thought that was a great little twist there.
So, hey, Carly, why don't we take a break and listen to an ad from one of our sponsors? You're listening to the Speakeasy Noir Cast, the show that brings you binge drinking with a side of noir, with your hosts Carly Street and Jason D. Morris.
And then even from there, they keep you guessing who the killer is, and they keep developing motives. And even with the aunt, she has a great little monologue during this weird party that's set up. I thought that was the strangest thing. You have the Lidecker calling everybody to come over after they discover that she's still alive. And then the cop's like, I already called everybody. And they throw like a you're still alive party.
Woohoo, not dead. Is that
Right.
the same party where he casually announces the killer on the phone? He just takes a phone call. It's like, I know who the killer is. They're here. Yeah, it's one of these guys. And then he puts the phone down and turns around and they're all looking at him and he just smokes a cigarette as he walks through them all.
Right. Dude, is that not a classic Columbo kind of thing? You gather everybody up to the location, and then it's like, hey, the killer's in this room. Yeah. It's there's so many great things like that. It's just so funny because he's so deadpan and so straightforward that it's like at some point you start to expect weird shit like that from him. They did a great job of not making him eccentric in a over the top eccentric way. He has very subtle eccentric.
Jason, stop there. Stop functioning.
You know what I'm trying to say. They're subtle. And I think that's what made his character work so well and be able to pull off things like that and have it work out. He arrests her, takes her to the police station, interrogates her, and, clears up his one last fact, which honestly was a little shaky to me. I mean, tells him that the radio is broken, and then, right before I left, I told the repair guy to fix it. And I'm like, I don't know. I thought that was a little silly, but it satisfied him, I guess. I don't know. I just think they did a great job with continuing the suspense of who did it, and I wish there was a little more foreshadowing a little earlier on the clock. I wish there was a scene. Maybe I just missed it, but because it seems a little weird that there wasn't a scene where he buys her the clock or gives her the clock or something like that. And so I felt like that came a little out of the blue. And I know that there's a scene where, he's trying to collect the things that he'd given her, or quote unquote, as he says, borrowed.
Yeah. I gave them to her as a present that I now want back.
Right.
But I love her so very much.
Yeah. But my things, my precious.
I mean, he did shoot himself in the foot straight away, didn't he? By just sort of being like, well, I need this and this now. Because straight away the police officer's going to be like, vroom. Why?
Yeah. It's really weird. Yeah. I'll just take the vase with me. I'll send somebody for the clock.
I'll take it now. Don't worry. Don't bother yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish that the clock was something set up a little earlier and a little differently. that would have helped a lot too. But then again, maybe it would have pushed too much to suspect him. I don't know.
Yeah, might have been.
But I did like. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I did like that it was a hiding spot for the shotgun. I liked all that stuff. I thought that was pretty great. And he did have the forethought to bring additional shotgun shells. I seriously thought he was going to pull that gun out. Yeah, I thought he was going to pull that gun out and then go in there and try to shoot her, and you're just going to get the click click. But then he cracks it open and he puts shells, and I'm like, oh. He was definitely prepared for this.
She was going down.
Yeah, and that was ballsy of her, grabbing the gun and pushing it up, not getting killed. She did a nice little defensive move there, which saved her life, And you know what I loved? Like, my favorite shot of this movie, actually, there's two shots. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you caught this, but I thought it was brilliant. There's a shot of Vincent Price walking through the door at the cabin. And he's silhouetted, and he's got his jacket over his shoulders. He's not like wearing it like normal. Mm. And he opens the door and he's silhouetted, and it looks like Dracula coming through the doorway. And I thought that was amazing. I loved it.
I didn't catch that.
That was so cool. Yeah. Because it was the first thing that popped in my head was like, oh, that looks like Dracula. I thought that was so cool. And then at the end of the movie, because there was so much talk of her being shot in the face and all that kind of stuff, at the very end, he Lydecker shoots the shotgun at the cops, or tries to, and misses, and it hits the face, the clock face, and shatters it. And I just thought that was pretty cool. So I thought that was a pretty neat little shot there at the end. Another thing that I was surprised about on this movie was when I was going through and looking at the history of it and how many Academy Awards it was nominated for. I was super happy that it was nominated for set dressing. They called it something else back there. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the official title was, but it was basically set dressing, because that was the first thing that I noticed in this movie when I first turned it on. Is I thought that the set dressing was way above standard for most noirs or even films of the time. The places looked kind of lived in. They were very, very well decorated. There was more stuff on the walls than you would normally see. There were more things in the scene than you would normally see. So I really enjoyed that, and I thought that was pretty well done in this particular movie. And so I was pretty happy that they were nominated for that. I think they lost every category they were nominated for. But
really?
I believe so, yeah. But even still, yeah, it's a testament that and the Academy Awards don't always get it right, anyways. There's plenty of films that won Best Picture that probably shouldn't deserve it, or there was a better film that year. And I don't know how political it is. I'm sure it's extremely political and has to do with money and whatever. But yeah, it's it doesn't make the film any less good, in my opinion. I thought it was great.
Oh no, hold on, it does.
And deserved. Did it win something?
That's nominee. Oh, Best Art Direction, Interior Decoration. That's what you were on about.
Yeah.
It says it won Best Cinematography.
Oh, Best Cinematography. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not a bad award to get either. But yeah, they had a lot of nominations, and I thought that was great. And I'm glad that it was nominated for set decorating. I thought that was a standout thing. The cinematography was okay. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was noticeable.
I think there was better things for it to win for, like the screenplay. The dialogue was very witty, and I think stuff like that probably warranted a bit more praise.
And honestly, I Vincent Price. I thought he was great in this.
Yeah, there was...
It would have been nice to see him nominated for something because I thought he's so unassuming in this movie. It's just, I thought it was great. But did you happen to? There's something you might be a little excited about here.
Oh.
Well, before we get into that, did you know that this was originally written to have a sequel?
No.
Yeah.
Is it
I don't know
Laura
how they would have
and
done that, but
the awesome police detective teaming up to be like a martial arts fighting team? Because that would have been brilliant with his little games and her little kung fu-ing. No?
You need to stop watching Asylum films.
I know. It's a problem. Although, tell you what, Sharknado doesn't look so stupid now, does it, in 2020?
No, it doesn't.
Tell you what, if a tornado flew over your house with a shark, you'd be like, it's just another day in 2020.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the year for Asylum. I'm telling you, man. They can make a Murder Hornets movie. They can do a Fire Tornado.
Exactly.
Fire-nado.
Fire-nado with the Hornets coming out.
Yeah, there you go.
No. You're welcome, Asylum.
Yeah, that's perfect. But so I guess this started as a play, and then it didn't get off the ground, and there was a sequel written that was, both of them were supposed to be shopped around to either for Broadway or something of the sort, and that never got picked up, and eventually, made into a film. And then later on, there was a remake of it in a television show called the 20th Century Fox Hour, which I want to check out because Robert Stack is in it. I don't know if you know who that is, but if you've ever watched Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, we watch that all the time. Oh, is he the host with the mustache?
Yeah. Actually, I don't remember him having a mustache, but he was the main host. There were several hosts for the show, but he was the main one that everybody usually remembers. So I want to check that out because that'll be interesting. Also interesting to see it in a shorter time frame of, probably like an hour. It's an hour-long show, so maybe it's 45, 50 minutes, something like that. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Also, what you might like is that they did a sort of homage episode on Magnum P.I.
Oh, I like Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
He has a mustache as well, a groovy one.
I knew it was going to come up.
Sorry.
So they did an episode of Magnum P.I. called Skin Deep. And Ian McShane is the guest star, and he plays Lydecker. Ian, whatever. Sorry.
Ian.
My bad. Ian. I'm bad with that. So he which I love him. I think he's great. So he plays Lydecker, which I think is probably, or it's a Lydecker type. It's not the same characters, but because it's just an homage. But I think it would be great to see him play the Lydecker type character. I thought that would be pretty fun. So I'm going to check that out. I'm not a huge Magnum P.I. fan. I think it gets pretty silly at times. Kind of like when I was a kid, I used to watch Knight Rider all the time. But then when I went back and watched it, it's really bad.
What's bad about Knight Rider?
Well, I guess it's not really that any of the individual episodes are bad. It's just those shows were so horrible with continuity. It's just weird.
Well, he did have a crime fighting car. It's very hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I don't know. I guess I have higher standards.
I don't. I do not.
I can tell. Sharknado fan.
Mine are on the floor, barely above ground level.
Yeah, so those are two cool things to check out if you're interested in Laura. I don't know that a sequel ever, made it to any sort of production, but apparently there is a script or a play that was written or at least developed. And I personally think that would be interesting. And as successful as this movie was, and for all of the awards that it was nominated for, it seems like it would have been an obvious thing to do, is make a sequel.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have worked, but
I'm not sure. And the interesting thing is that the sequel is actually just called Laura. The original, like this story, was originally titled Ring Twice for Laura, I believe. And then the sequel was just to be titled Laura.
Oh.
But there's no information I was able to find on what the sequel was about or any of that. And it might just take some further research, but I would definitely be interested in checking that out because I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I think this was a great first episode to open up our season 2 here. And I hope people check this out. I think it was a pretty solid film. And it did give me a lot of throwbacks to Green for Danger and how they tried to make you suspect everybody as the killer and gave everybody solid motives. I mean, these weren't cheap, cheesy, flimsy motives. Everybody had like a real solid motive to do this. And then to find out that, she wasn't killed. And God damn it, I realize I'm constantly giving spoilers on this podcast. Like that's such a spoiler. If somebody hasn't seen this movie and they're going to go and they wanted to go watch it, I've just ruined the movie for them, or at least I did about 40 minutes ago when I first said it.
Maybe we should have a sound effect for spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did that last season, and I guess that worked okay, but I don't know what people are supposed to do. Like, fast forward or turn it off?
No, maybe if it's like jazz piano at the beginning, that means spoiler alert. Mm-hmm. If there's no jazz piano, then there's probably still a spoiler alert that we don't know about.
But I don't know what they're supposed to do. Like, if they hear the sound effect, like if I say something like, "Hey, she's not dead," and I ruin the movie, are they supposed to like fast forward when they hear the sound effect? Are they supposed to turn it off and not listen to our show? I don't want that.
I mean, you're the technical whiz.
I'd rather ruin the movie for you than have you turn off our show.
I mean, you're the technical whiz. It's just really up to you to decide.
I'll just cut out that section and put it at the end of the podcast, and they'll just be like, what are they talking about now? Because it'll just like go right over it into another section. And I don't know what to do.
Confusion is what you're going to do. I like it.
Yeah, I think that just because the sheer fact that these films are almost 100 years old now, I think that we can't be held accountable for spoilers.
Jason can't be, because Jason spoils it. I let him spoil it first, and then I say it, because then you've said it first.
I noticed that. You're just like,
I nearly said it before. I didn't know whether I was supposed to say, "Oh, yeah, that she's dead." So I just let you say it.
It's hard to not talk about this movie. It's one of those, you know what I mean? Because it's not like near the end, really.
No, it's like halfway through, so it's earlier than that, isn't it? It's really not that long into it that you think she's dead.
Yeah, it's like a 88-minute film, and I think it's probably around the 40-minute mark.
Because they go
maybe
straight
slightly
into
later.
It. There's no messing about.
Yeah.
It's straight into here's this dead woman, here's her flashbacks. So it might even be sooner than that,
So I don't know. I don't know that I'm doing something wrong here by letting everybody know that, but it definitely had an impact on me when I was watching it, when that came up. And if I had known that, I think I would have liked this movie less. So maybe I did ruin it for everybody, and I'm sorry. My apologies.
Well done, Morris.
It's like telling everybody the end of The Sixth Sense.
Well, like my mum happily does to everybody, so don't worry about it. She's wandering around ruining a 20-year-old film for the next 20 years, so...
Right. He was dead.
Oh, what? It's the best bit is whenever someone says the title, The Sixth Sense, straight away, you don't even blink before she's like, oh, that bloody rubbish film with Bruce Willis where he's dead. Done. Rude. Just done.
Oh, well. Well, anyway, I spoiled it, and I'm sorry. I guess it's time to rate this movie, yeah?
Yes. What it should have been.
Okay.
Let's see.
What it should have been.
Well, I wrote one and then I rethought it. And I don't know whether to go with the first one or after sort of settling.
So you write out like your thoughts on the on your rating? Like, I don't do that. That's interesting. That's good though. You should keep doing that. We could put a book together. Joe Madry suggested that we do that. That we do a book. I think based on the podcast. I can't remember exactly.
Oh my God! I don't think anybody wants.
Noir.
No, I don't think anybody wants to see my rambling. One example of one of my notes, Jason, is a piece of dialogue, which is Laura dear, I cannot stand these morons any longer, and I've written next to it, Jason making me leave a place that he doesn't like when we're famous, with a smiley face.
That's so funny you brought that up because that line was hilarious to me. I loved it. It was so funny.
It's just the way she started a conversation and he's just like, oh, I can't be dealing with these morons. We must leave.
It was so good.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants that in book form, but...
That's great. Well, at least I can't mispronunciate anything in a book.
Very true. Very true.
All right, you're up. Tell us what you got.
So I originally put 7 out of 10.
I hate you.
But I think actually definitely it should have gone up to an 8. But I think maybe being fair, it should be a 9 out of 10.
I agree with that.
Because I was only a little bit upset that I wanted to see, well, you know what I'm like for brooding men. I wanted to see more of the detective sort of like crying into his whiskey glass because he was secretly in love with this woman who was dead and never going to come back. I didn't really like,
right.
It's nice that she came back, but I quite was waiting for that sort of tragic, murderous drama sort of edge, but it didn't make it bad. So.
She was a bit of a player though, so I imagine that could have been a great basis for a sequel. Because she was kind of sleeping around. She was a little bit with everybody, and so she did get with the detective.
She did have her fingers in a lot of pies, didn't she?
Yeah. Way to put it. So if a sequel did happen and those two are together and he ends up killing her, that would have been a great sequel, I think.
Yeah. Or he has to actually investigate her real murder and he spends half the film waiting for her to pop up again, back from a jolly from Scotland. She never does.
Not bad. Yeah.
Or until the end.
She gets killed again, for reals.
Yeah, for real. Or maybe he solves it and it turns out that he was the killer. Oh, I'm on fire.
Nice.
Plot twist.
Yeah. Okay. So before I couldn't picture there being a sequel. Now I can picture there's several sequels.
Yep.
All right. Did you have more to say there?
No, I think 9 out of 10 is fair for the film as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
I think 7 was a little low. I give it a 9 as well. I think this movie is really great. I enjoyed everything about it. There's just a few small little flaws, I wish that they had delved in a little bit more, like you said, the crying into his whiskey glass kind of thing, like showing a little bit more of him falling in love with her. There really was only one scene where you kind of got that, other than Lydecker, constantly saying it, right? Which you think he's just pushing buttons. And I thought that was just silly. I'm like, what? When it first came up. And then they show him, getting drunk and falling asleep. in front of the portrait or whatever, and then she shows up. That was really the only moment where that was like, oh, that wasn't just a pushing buttons thing. He actually is, and I just didn't catch it, or whatever it might be. I thought that they could have handled that a little bit better. But the movie had its issues with production. They had a studio head that didn't want this director directing it. They were enemies. There's a lot of interference. Even something we didn't talk about was there was he was forced to shoot a different ending to the movie. But it tested poorly. Yeah, it tested poorly. So the studio head, Zanuck, conceded and let him put his ending in. There was a lot of interference on this movie, but
I wonder what the other ending was.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, yes, I do know. Stupid.
Stop lying to us, Morris. You're not Facebook. Stop it.
Yeah, it's dumb. He wanted to have Lydecker dreaming the whole thing.
Oh no, that would have been rubbish.
Yeah, it would have been. But yeah, so that was the ending. Which maybe for the time that would have been interesting. I don't know. Nowadays, if you had watched it, it would have been horrible. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And I'm wondering, I know there have been a couple releases of this film on Blu-ray or DVD. I wonder if that ending showed up as like a bonus feature, because it'd be interesting just to see it. I know a lot of these older films, stuff like that, it's not around anymore, but that would be cool to find out. But certain things like that, I think didn't help it. I would have liked to have, again, seen a bit of foreshadowing on the clock a little bit more, because it felt like it came a little bit out of the blue. But other than that, I thought they did a great job of the mystery portion of it and the sort of midpoint twist, keeping you on your toes, not knowing who killed her, even after she's no longer dead, and then finding out it was somebody else's. But they did a great job just keeping the suspects alive. So I also give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a great film. I enjoyed this. I would watch this again, and I'm gonna see if I can find at least the plot or something of what the sequel would have been, because I think that they should have done that maybe. And I'm going to look up the Magnum PI episode and the Fox Hour episode. See how those pan out.
I might have to make a little gap in my Diagnosis Murder schedule to watch this Magnum PI one.
Well, it'll only take an hour of your time, so.
I know, but Diagnosis Murder is an hour of your time. I mean, I'm going to have to pick this wisely.
How many times have you been through the entire show of Diagnosis Murder?
I don't want to answer that. I'm pretty sure CBS Justice just keep it on for me. It's just me every morning, sat there watching my double bill,
right? And
then I watch it again on Sunday. It's repeated all together.
That's funny. Shawnee, my wife, has been watching Grey's Anatomy.
I liked it to begin with. I just don't like that Patrick Dempsey.
She's got to the point where the Mark Sloan character comes in, which is an homage to Dick Van Dyke's character. I just thought that was kind of funny, but because nobody remembers Diagnosis Murder, which is sad. It ran for 8 freaking seasons.
I know. And when you type in Mark Sloan,
yeah, he comes up.
It's only ever that comes up.
Right. I mean, how does a show run for 8 seasons? It wasn't even that long ago. I mean, compared to a lot of shows that people still remember, had, I don't know how many TV movies and then the Murder 101 spinoffs. And I mean, it's really quite fascinating that people don't remember the freaking show.
I think they do. They just don't know what it's called. As soon as you describe it a little bit more, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember watching that when I was drunk eating pizza. There you go.
Yeah, right. It's like nobody wanted to watch it, but it was on. I don't know.
Nobody wanted to watch it, but yeah, everybody has.
Right.
That's the magic of Dick Van Dyke. That's the magic of the Van Dykes right there.
It's that show is an enigma. I love it. I think it's great. And I wasn't a huge fan until we did our little watch the entire show again, but it made me a big fan of it. And I always liked Charlie Schlatter. But it's, yeah, I guess maybe I don't like Scott Baio, so I wasn't disappointed that he left.
Yeah, I don't really watch the first series, so to be fair.
But it's a good show. It's fun. And I know this is way off topic, but since we're talking about Diagnosis Murder, did you know that you remember the episode with the dirt bikes? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the episode with the dirt bikes, somebody gets killed doing some crazy jump on a dirt bike, and then one of the characters is selling videos, editing together these dirt bikes. You mean
Barry's son? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But not in the show. It's not his son in the show. But so he's editing these videos together and selling them, and he's got this shot of this person dying on the dirt bike or whatever, and there's it's a special effect. They didn't have the budget to do it, and I found out later that Dick Van Dyke is a special effects enthusiast, and he did the special effects for that.
I know. I
had no idea.
I know.
And they paid him I think it was $5,000 or something like that, or something. I don't know, whatever it was. Maybe it was 500. I can't remember. But I thought that was amazing. I thought that was really cool, because even for the time period, what was that, earlier mid 90s? Mm-hmm. It was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty. It was fun. I thought that was cool.
He's a cool guy.
But I guess you already knew that.
I did. I realized
he really is.
I realized after I said I know that I should have pretended that I didn't know and gone, "Oh, it's amazing." Mm-hmm. But I was too far into it.
Yeah, you should have.
I'm sorry.
You should have fed my ego with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Now you know more about Diagnosis Murder than you ever wanted to. And you know the spoiler of Laura.
And my schedule for the morning.
Right. We really hope you guys enjoyed our the Speakeasy film. Wait, what is our show called? Speakeasy Noir Cast.
I thought you were pausing to do a sound effect.
No, but I can put one in now. Maybe I should have did this one instead.
Good Lord, what was that?
All right, guys. Anyway, we hope that you guys will still check out Laura, even though we've spoiled it for you, because it's a fantastic film, great acting, great set decoration, in my opinion. And Vincent Price is in it, obviously. So check it out. Have some fun. Drink Paralyzer while you watch. And we hope to see you guys next week. Wait, next week? Do we do these weekly now? Is that what we have been doing? I can't remember. This is horrible. I don't know the name of our show. I don't know the format. I don't know how often we do it. I can't pronunciate anything. I'm not even drunk. It's just early.
Jason without coffee.
Yeah, no, I've had 2 cups and it's not working.
My coffee's defective.
That's exactly what it feels like. All right, guys. Anyways, until next time. And Carly's got to do her signature bye-bye.
Oh, have I got to do a fresh bye-bye?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I always just copied the first one you did.
Maybe I'll try and think of a really razzle-dazzle way to say, I know what I'll say. Tally-ho, tatty buys.
What?
Toodaloo, toodle-pop.
I'm going to put them all in now.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, and The Dark Side of Acting Up Volume 2, now available on Amazon. Or you can check out one of our films, also available on Amazon Prime. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Speakeasy Noircast.